Everyone, you're watching Richard's Reptiles. In today's video I'm going to be showing you how to set up a crested gecko enclosure. So as you can see, I have two crested gecko tanks. Both of them are bioactive, and that basically means that it has these invertebrates that break down the waste, and it has live plants in. So that's one way to set them up. You can also just do a simple setup, but I'm just going to go over both of them. So firstly, to go over what you should put in your enclosure, whether it's bioactive or not. So you want some places to perch. So I have this vine here for Charmander. I have a silk hanging plant, a plastic hanging plant, and some live plants. I've got this bromeliad and this snake plant, which she's in right now. I don't know if you'll be able to see her. You can kind of see her head there. I don't know if you can see, but you want some places for them to climb on and some places to hide. Same sort of idea with Trico. I've got this vine going round, plenty of cork bark, and she's actually in there hiding. And I have just a piece of my pony wood, and then some live plants, and then a fake plastic plant. So you want places for them to hide and places for them to climb. So obviously cork bark, I use this in both of mine. So here's Charmander's piece of cork bark. They have a feeding ledge, so 1 cup's food, 1 cup's water. Same with Trico. So that kind of concludes what you really want to put in your crested gecko enclosure. So let's move on to bioactive. So obviously if you're first keeping your reptiles, you don't have to do bioactive. I definitely recommend it. So this is a drainage layer. This is like hydro balls, and then you have your mesh barrier. It's just called like Exoterra biodrain mesh. You put that there, and then you have your tropical soil. So you can use like Arcadia Earth Mix, Cressy Life, BioLife. I use like a mix of them in here. And then with the bioactive, you want to put some natural materials in there. So in the soil you put your cleanup crew, so that's springtails and isopods, so wood lice and then springtails, and they will break down the waste. Of course you still need to clean like the glass and stuff and remove any poop if you see it, but don't like overly stress about that. And you don't replace the soil like ever. And then your plants. So I have live plants in here. If you are doing bioactive, you have to at least have like 1 live plant. And for the plants, you need a grow light. That's what I have there and there. So that's a bromeliad. That's a snake plant. The wandering dew cuttings, and that's just another plant like a fan palm, I don't know exactly, and then lucky bamboo at the back. This one is a Madagascar jasmine, this one which is like going all around. Then at the back there, that is a lucky bamboo as well. And then these are some wandering dews. So you want some live plants in there if you're doing bioactive. And then also I have the vines for them, logs, bark, everything, like some aquarium decorations. There's a skull there, and then your hanging plants, which you don't have to include. You can just do live plants, but I find giving them a variety of options just helps with a bit of cover and spaces to hide as well. So yeah, and with the bioactive for your plants, you need a grow light, otherwise your plants won't grow well. And that is the only bit of lighting and heating I use for crested geckos. They've been fine. I've been keeping them for 3 years, had no problems. Charmander's is at 23.2 degrees Celsius and 60% humidity, and Trico's is 22.9 degrees Celsius and 75% humidity. So that's like the humidity and temperatures you want. Like my probes are back there and there. So that kind of concludes bioactive and what to include it. So now I'm going to kind of do more a simple setup. So with your simple setup, you're just going to have your soil. I'd recommend Cressy Life or plantation soil or eco earth, something like that. For them, you won't need the drainage layer because you're not going to be using any live plants. You can of course use them, but you don't have to. And what you're going to include in there is some bark, logs, vines, branches and fake plants. So you can also get like fake plants which are off the bottom, and the aquarium decorations of course. So you can do it that way. It works well for a lot of people. I just find it easier to do bioactive because you don't have to clean it out as often. With one of these simple setups, you're going to need to be cleaning out every feature you see, and you're going to need to be cleaning the glass at every spot. You're going to need to be disinfecting the plants, disinfecting the vines, like on a weekly basis. So that's kind of what most people do. Because I have 7 reptiles now, it's a bit awkward to do that, but yeah. And these last 2 ones are permanent enclosures. You can keep babies in this size enclosure. So this is a 45 by 45 by 60 centimeter glass enclosure. Both of them are. That's 18 by 18 by 24 inches. That's the minimum for crested geckos. I would say the minimum for 1 to 3 crested geckos is that size for them. Don't use wood. PVC will work, just so you need to seal the insides and it's a lot more expensive. Also, a simple setup version is basically what I said before, just using paper towel instead of soil. I prefer the soil because it's a lot more natural, like they're not going to have paper towel where they come from obviously, and you don't have to clean it out like every week. Like if you had a soil substrate that wasn't bioactive, I'd change it like once a month, whereas the paper towel you need to change at least once a week. So it works well, it doesn't look the best, and it's a bit more maintenance, but it's up to you. And then what I kind of have is a mix between those two. So it's got some hanging plants, fake vines, fake ledges and stuff, but it's also got bioactive soil, bark and live plants. So I found that to be the best way for them. They can choose from it. And that kind of concludes how to set up a permanent crested gecko enclosure. Now I'll go over how to set up one for babies and juveniles. So for babies and juveniles, you're looking at something like this: a feeding ledge, hanging plants, branches and stuff. This is what my Bar's chameleon geckos are in. You can kind of see a couple of them there. This setup works well. I just have some soil there and some fake plants and stuff, but this works well. This is like a critter keeper. You can also do it with plastic tubs and stuff. The same sort of idea. They want places to climb, places to hide, like plants, and some cover to make them feel secure. Basically just a smaller version of the bigger setups. So I wouldn't keep any crested geckos over 3 months old in this enclosure, but once they're 3 months old, I'd keep them in something like this. This is what I have my tree frogs in, but basically vines, plants, cork, bark, water bowl. Now obviously this is different to my other setups. Bar's chameleon gecko is very similar to crested geckos. These are quite different, but it's the same sort of idea. They want places to hide and places to climb. And this is what this enclosure does. This is a 30 by 30 by 45. This will work for the first 2 years of having your crested gecko, but once they're 2, move them into something like this. So I guess that kind of concludes the video. If you want me to add anything else, just comment down below. And thanks for watching, everybody. If you've been watching Richard's Reptiles, remember to like and subscribe for fun reptile and amphibian content. And goodbye.